I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA and today I want to talk about the series Alien Earth. Now first of all, I want to say I'm genuinely surprised that after I finished watching the show, I looked at the online general consensus and there seems to be a large portion of the fan base who disliked this show. That is genuinely surprising to me and almost shocking to me given how I found the show to be myself. And the basic premise of the show goes like this. There are currently 3 companies with 3 different technologies essentially competing for world dominance. They are so powerful they own cities, these companies. They probably run entire countries. And one company is developing cyborg technology, which are humans augmented with robotic or, electronic parts. And then you've got synthetics who look like humans but are fully robotic in every single way. And the third company makes something called hybrids, and this is the company we focus on, and hybrids are synthetic bodies but have had real human consciousnesses put into the minds of them. And we focus on this group of children who were all terminally ill from cancer and thus get their consciousnesses transferred into the first prototype hybrids. I already love this, by the way, because it just sounds like a Black Mirror episode right off the bat, but it's also got the Alien license on top of it. But yeah, that's only one half of the premise, because the second half of the premise is the Weyland-Yutani company are bringing a ship back to Earth which is full of parasites they have captured in space and are planning to see if they can weaponize, one of these being the Xenomorph. And basically the first episode starts with this ship crash landing into Earth and it hits one of the cities of the rival company. So Weyland-Yutani can't get to it because the company that controls the hybrid technology own the city where the ship has crash landed. So the first episode is a crazy start as well, where we see lots of these parasites get recaptured. We get introduced to 4 other parasites other than the Xenomorph which they've caught, and in my opinion each of these are equally as interesting in their own ways. Also on the ship is a cyborg character who is determined to get his samples back, because from his perspective he's been on this ship for 65 years. His daughter got old and died while he was away capturing these parasites, and now some other company has just taken them when he's got back to Earth. I fully understand why that man would be invested in making sure he got them back. And the company that controls the hybrid technology and takes the parasites back is ran by a character they call the Boy Genius, who was basically able to create his own synth at 6 years old and is a savant and has always been one step ahead of the game in everything he does. So you can tell there's a lot more going on to this story that meets the eye in many directions. Timothy Olyphant is also in the hybrid technology company, playing the personal sort of synth right-hand man to the Boy Genius. Now, one of the many reasons I think this show's genius is because I feel like Noah Hawley did for Alien what The Mandalorian did for Star Wars, and I'll explain that. Jon Favreau, instead of just trying to tip his hat to Star Wars, thought, what is Star Wars? What did George Lucas do? And what George Lucas did was take classic Western and samurai stories and put them in space and give them a space aesthetic, making them feel new. Jon Favreau thus went back to the source materials of Western and samurai stuff and thought, what didn't George Lucas already use? One of them being the Lone Wolf and Cub series or Shogun Assassin, which is basically identical to the plot of the Mandalorian TV show. I feel like Noah Hawley has done the same thing here because he's thought, what is Alien intrinsically? And it's a story about humans encountering a space parasite that is absolutely deadly and they have no idea what they're dealing with. And instead of making just another Alien sequel which has set pieces and tension building up to yet another scene of a Xenomorph killing yet another human, Noah Hawley has thought, I wonder what other sort of fucked fucked up space parasites could be out there, just waiting for us to encounter them. And I really think he's created new parasites which only enhance the lore of the alien universe. First of all, you've got these little flying bugs that work like flies and that they vomit an acid on something before they straw it back up to eat it. You've got a hanging plant, which for most of the show leaves you in suspense as to what it does exactly. You've got these absolutely disgusting space leeches that seem to be really good at targeting your artery and have all sorts of insidious methods of reproducing. And then you've got my personal favourite, which is basically like an eyeball with tentacles. And what it does is, it finds a host with an eye, attacks the eyeball, pulls it out of the socket of the host with its tentacles, then replaces that eyeball and mimics the colour and shape of the host's eye while using its tentacles to now control the brain of the host so it can control it like a mech. And I don't want to spoil anything, but it is a very interesting species. Again, some people don't like it, some people think they focused on it too much and it took away from the xenomorph. Me personally, I just think it completely enriches the lore of the alien world, and I have to give credit to Noah Hawley for just not rerunning through the paces of a xenomorph killing a human for an entire season, just like I also tip my hat to Jon Favreau for coming up with fresh Star Wars material rather than just making more of the same Star Wars. And whenever they can in this show, they will try to use a live action xenomorph with an actor in a suit, and some people don't like it and think it looks too cheap or cheesy. Me, I always prefer and appreciate when they try to use as many practical effects as possible, and I loved the fact that they attempted to have a live action Xeno anytime they could until, you know, it was doing something like running up a wall or something like that. And when it goes into action, it is just shown to be an absolute tornado of death, and I am not using that term lightly. Like, it will tear through a room full of people in 2 seconds in this show. It truly feels like an unstoppable force of nature at times. And the only thing that I have left to say is I truly hope that they make a second season of this. They left it with so many cliffhangers in the hopes that a second season was going to be greenlit, and I personally just would not be able to handle it if they left the show where it was, just because some people didn't appreciate it. So if you do appreciate this show, watch, rewatch and triple watch every single episode to let them know that they have a viewership there, and hopefully I'll be able to review season 2 in a few years time. And until next time, if you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, come over to the Patreon, sign up and help support me personally. I've been BA, peace.